From everything that's happening right now in the family with Kody and Janelle specifically right now, I feel very unsteady. And in all...
Welcome back to GlowGossips USA, your go-to channel for the most explosive revelations and emotional deep dives into the world of sister wives. What you're about to witness isn't just another chapter. It's a reckoning, the calm before. The storm is over. Janelle is done whispering. Kody is out of excuses, and Robyn, well, let's just say her tears aren't enough to hold the edit anymore. Buckle up, because this is the moment it all begins to unravel. Janelle Brown's rental in Flagstaff wasn't anything grand modest. But there was a kind of sacred stillness in its walls. The early morning sun streamed through wide windows, painting everything in soft gold. It was quiet, almost too quiet, but Janelle didn't mind. In fact, she breathed in the silence like oxygen. For the first time in what felt like decades, she wasn't drowning in noisy, emotional, financial, or otherwise. Wrapped in fuzzy socks and a flannel robe, she moved about the kitchen like a woman untethered. The kettle hissed behind her. The scent of peppermint tea rose in the air. The TLC production crew tiptoed in, setting up with practiced discretion. But even their presence couldn't shake the feeling that something seismic was about to shift. Because it wasn't just any day. Kody was coming. He'd called the night. Before, his voice tense, a little too performative, like a man playing a part he no longer believed in. He said he wanted to talk, face to face. He called it urgent. But urgency wasn't something Janelle responded to anymore. Not from him, not when it always came too late. Across town, Kody gripped the steering wheel of his truck so tight his knuckles turned white. His eyes were bloodshot, sleepless. He didn't want to be doing this, not really. But Robyn had pressed the issue like she always did. Fix it. She'd snapped last night. You broke her. You fix it. Her voice had wavered, a combination of guilt and panic. But Kody couldn't tell if it was for him more for what was slipping out of her control. The truth was, Kody no longer knew what he was trying to save. The plural family, his image, or just whatever scraps were left that didn't make him look like the villain. He parked outside Janelle's small house and sat in the truck for a moment too long. The engine ticked in the stillness. And then deep breath. Door slam, he walked toward her front porch like a man headed to a trial he knew he'd lose. Janelle was already in the kitchen when he stepped inside. She didn't greet him, didn't flinch. Just stood there, arms folded, eyes sharp. She looked like a woman who had finally buried her grief and built a fortress from the ashes. Janelle, Kody began, his voice too soft to rehearsed. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I was hoping we could talk, maybe find a way back. A pause. I know things went off course. Robyn thinks a laugh cut through the room like a thunderclap. Loud, deep. So unexpected that one of the cameramen jolted, nearly dropping. His lens? Oh, so that's it? Janelle said, her voice rich with sarcasm. You're here because Robyn told you to be. Kody flinched. It's not like that. It's exactly like that, she snapped. You always come crawling back when our ship starts sinking. She took a step forward, her expression hard. All those years you spent turning your back on my kids, ignoring me, making me feel like some background noise to your little love story. You gave her your loyalty, your future, your money. And now that the foundation's cracking, you want me to be the safety net? Kody opened his mouth, but no words came out. I'm not that woman anymore, Janelle said, calm. Now, dangerously so. I'm not waiting for crumbs. Never meant for this to happen, Kody muttered. But you let it happen, she fired back. And now you think a cheap apology and some half-hearted us talk is going to make it all better. That door is closed, and just like that, it was done. Kody didn't argue. He couldn't. He just stood there for a beat longer, then turned and walked out. The sound of the door clicking shut behind him was louder than any scream. Janelle exhaled. Deeply, a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. It was as if she'd just let go of 10 years of suffocating silence. She poured the rest of her tea down the sink and allowed herself finally a small smile. Not of triumph, but of peace. But while Janelle was finding her calm, chaos was brewing behind the scenes. Back in Los Angeles, inside the dimly lit editing bay of TLC, the production team was working overtime. Robyn's latest confession was queued up on the screen. Her mascara-streaked face filled the monitor. Her voice trembled. "I never wanted to be the favorite," she sobbed. "I just wanted all of us together." Melissa, the supervising editor, didn't even blink. "How many times is she going to cry that same line?" she murmured. The assistant editor rolled his eyes. "Focus groups aren't buying it anymore. They say it's fake, performative." Melissa didn't wait another second. With one decisive flick of her wrist, she dragged Robyn's tear-stained monologue into the archive folder. The screen went black. Cut her. This isn't her story anymore. It's Janelle's now. And just like that, Robyn vanished from the season's main storyline. Poof, gone. Later that evening, under a breathtaking desert sky streaked with twilight, Janelle sat outside on her modest patio, a glass of wine in hand. The wind was cool. The stars shimmered above her like whispers of old dreams that no longer held power over her. Her phone buzzed. A message from Mary lit up the screen. "He hit on me too. Said he needed me. I told him to go find Robyn. Also heard you laughed in his face. Conic." Janelle chuckled. Genuinely this time. She texted back, "It felt good. I didn't even realize how ready I was to let it go until the words came out." Another buzz. "Christine, this time, queen behavior." Watching the raw cut now, they deleted Robyn's crying scene. "Girl, this season, it's yours." Janelle set the phone down and looked up. The sky was massive. The weight she had carried for so long, years of guilt, of being overlooked, of trying to fit a mold that was never shaped for her, had lifted. She had walked through the fire and stepped out with grace. She wasn't the ex-wife. She was the evolution. And somewhere in a never-aired deleted scene, Robyn sat under harsh production lighting, face streaked with makeup, trying desperately to hold the pieces of herself together. "I just think if we tried harder, Janelle would come back." From behind the camera, a producer's voice cut in, soft, icy. "She used to cry off camera, but not for you." Ben blinked, stunned. And this time, no amount of mascara or pleading eyes could make the moment land. Because for once, America wasn't watching her.
Go find your happiness. And saying, please figure it out with us here.
Welcome back to GlowGossips USA, where the truth finally cuts through the silence, and tonight, we're peeling back the curtain on what TLC never wanted you to see. Janelle's laugh, Christine's files, and Robyn's fall from center stage are only the beginning. Because when you silence the wrong woman, you don't just lose control. You light the match that burns the entire house down. The camera never blinked, but somehow nobody felt a thing. That final deleted scene, Robyn's shaky voice, her dripping mascara, her trembling hands as she sobbed. "I just wanted us to be one family," didn't resonate. Not with the editors, not with the focus groups, not even with the producers, who once shielded her like a franchise asset. Her words hung in the air like damp, laundry heavy, uncomfortable, and completely unneeded. Why aren't they using this scene? She whispered, breath catching. No one answered. The silence said enough. Instead, the final montage, the true heartbeat of the season, was being assembled in an edit bay that had finally found its backbone. The cameras no longer followed the tears that begged for pity. Instead, they revealed freedom. Janelle and Savannah laughing under a sun-drenched sky at a farmer's market, sunlight catching in their hair. Mary, strong and determined. Backpacking alone through the Utah Canyon's red rock, stretching behind her like the strength she'd always carried but never celebrated. Christine, barefoot in her kitchen, cooking with Truly as they danced between spilled flour and heartfelt jokes. And then the camera cuts to Kody, alone on the steps of Robyn's no-vacant mansion. Hands covering his face, shoulders sagging under the weight of everything he couldn't fix. Inside, Robyn stood beside the staircase, quiet, ghost-like, as the crew packed up and wheeled out the cameras. Her final confessional, cut, archived, forgotten. And the last shot, Janelle, glowing in the golden sunset light, seated peacefully. On her porch, her laugh, strong, unbothered, undeniably joyful, rung out over the screen as the credits began to roll. Then her voice returned, not shaky, not broken, but firm and free. A woman can only be silenced for so long before she starts laughing at you. And once she does, there's no going back. In her mansion, Robyn paced the tile floors. Each step squeaked. Her eyes were swollen from crying, skin blotchy, hair tied in a rushed bun. Her hands trembled as she picked up her phone and rewatched the rough cut a sympathetic crew member had sneakily sent her. There was no farewell from her, no closing thoughts. Just roaring applause for Janelle and the haunting echo of that unshakable laugh. And then black. Robyn's fingers clutched the marble counter. The sound of her own breathing filled the silence. In a moment of blind frustration, she slammed the phone against the counter, then snatched it back and furiously dialed the production office. Melissa answered with her usual maddening calm. "Hi, this is Robyn Brown," Robyn snapped, breath ragged. "I just watched the finale. Why was I completely excluded?" "You removed me entirely. No closure, no explanation." There was a pause. Then Melissa's voice came through, icy and still. "Hi, Robyn. We're heading in a different direction. The audience wants authenticity now. Your perspective, it just doesn't connect anymore." Robyn's mouth went dry. "You can't erase me," she hissed. "I am the story." "No," Melissa said plainly. "You were, but not anymore." Janelle's voice. Christine's courage. That's what the audience is connecting with. "We've tested it. Focus groups aren't just disengaged with your segments. They're angry." Robyn's throat tightened. Her grip on the phone weakened. "You're painting me as the villain," she choked out. "I was trying to keep the family together." Melissa didn't flinch. "Robyn, your issue isn't with TLC, it's with the public. And right now, you're not popular." The line went dead. Robyn sank to the kitchen floor, tears streaming down her face, surrounded by expensive furniture that now felt like props from a show that no longer belonged to her. Miles away in Utah, Christine leaned over her kitchen counter, eyes narrowed, focused on her laptop screen. Her face was tired but clear. She clicked a video file. Janelle's face appeared smiling, confident, holding a glass of water. Christine laughed as she played the clip. "You laughed in his face," she said, eyes wide. "I haven't seen anything better on television this year." Janelle's voice floated through the screen. "It just came out of me. I didn't plan it. But once it happened, I felt like I could breathe again." The moment passed. The laughter faded, and then Janelle's tone shifted. "Christine," she said quietly, "I kept records, all of them, every bank transfer, every deposit, every receipt. The loans, the withdrawals, voice notes, screenshots." Christine sat up straighter. "You're saying we go public?" she asked. Janelle nodded slowly. "Not TLC, not producers, not Kody's version of reality, our version. Our truth, raw, unfiltered, something they can't edit into their narrative." Christine didn't hesitate. "Let's do it." Number, more silence, no more tiptoeing. If they were going to be cast aside from the family, they'd reclaim their voices and do it on their own terms. Across town, Kody slouched on a couch that had once belonged to Robyn's designer-furnished living room. The mansion echoed, now 4 months overdue on the mortgage, property taxes piling up, the last pieces of furniture sold to keep what little they had above water. He held his phone, waiting for a call from TLC that wouldn't come. The texts had stopped. The emails dried up. No more reshoots. No more conference calls. Not even a check-in. Just silence. And Janelle. She wasn't looking back. No calls, no breadcrumbs. No hint of reconciliation. No do-overs. No parachute, Kody muttered, staring into nothing. I gave everything. I tried to lead. But even he didn't believe his own words anymore. Then his phone buzzed. He lifted it lazily, expecting spam. Instead, he saw it. A meme. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Clips from that moment, Janelle's laugh. His awkward apology, her fearless rejection had exploded on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, across Facebook groups and YouTube reaction channels. Janelle Brown laughing in Kody's face might be the most healing thing I've ever seen. One caption read, "Another. When she said that door's closed, I've felt that in my soul." Even divorce forums, mom blogs, and women's empowerment pages were reposting the moment like wildfire. It wasn't just content, it had become a movement. Kody stared blankly. His hands went limp. The phone slid from his grasp and thudded to the floor. A week later, two women sat in the cozy corner of Christine's Utah home. The light was soft. The mood intimate, no producers, no script. Just a ring light, a camera, and their truth. Christine looked into the lens, direct and fierce. "For years," she began, "we let someone else tell the story. But that ends now," Janelle added. "We stayed silent to protect people. But silence gave the wrong people power." What followed was a 45-minute takedown of everything the audience had suspected but never heard confirmed. The money mismanagement, the property backdoor deals, the way Robyn allegedly requested edits to make the family look united while she quietly siphoned the profits, how Kody allegedly funneled funds from the family LLC to cover debts under Robyn's name. Nothing was off limits. Every sentence was sharpened like a blade. And by the end, Christine's final line cracked like, "Thunder, we're not bitter anymore. We're free." And finally, we're telling the truth. The internet erupted. Mary, watching from afar, posted a cryptic Instagram story that read, "Some of us stayed silent out of fear. Some stayed because we believed. But now, it's time to stop pretending." The next morning, clips of the video surged to the top of social media charts. News outlets picked it up. Reaction videos went viral. Even former fans who had once dismissed Janelle as too quiet now praised her as a phoenix reborn. And Robyn? She sat frozen, staring at her phone screen as the video played. The expressions on Christine and Janelle's faces. The undeniable truth behind their words. She watched the like count climb. The shares, the comment sections. Words like "finally," "vindication," and "freedom" flooded the feeds. She closed the app, numb. In the distance, Kody sulked through the house, moving like a ghost haunted by his own past. He couldn't sleep anymore, because every time he closed his eyes, he heard it. That laugh, Janelle's laugh. Persistent, echoing, unshakable. Later, that week, in a dark legal office in downtown Flagstaff, Robyn sat across from Margot Dillinger, her attorney. A sharp-eyed woman with a Bluetooth headset permanently affixed to her head and a demeanor that never cracked. "They cut me out," Robyn muttered, voice small. "They erased my story." Margot leaned back. "TLC owns the footage. They can edit however they want, lest they defamed you, which they didn't. Your contract gives them that right." "They're painting me as the villain," Robyn whispered, eyes misting. Margot didn't blink. "Robyn, this isn't a legal issue, it's public opinion. And you're losing that battle. You're not popular right now," Robyn stiffened. "It's Christine and Janelle. They've turned everyone against me." Margot sighed, then changed the game. "You can't force TLC to edit you back in. But if you want leverage, strike. The network itself, go public. Call out the contracts. Dig, make noise." And for the first time in weeks, something stirred in Robyn's eyes. Not grief, not fear, but vengeance. Meanwhile, at TLC headquarters, panic had already begun to simmer. In a sterile, glass-walled conference room, executives gathered around a table, their faces pale and anxious. Brad Fenner, head of reality, content, slammed a folder shut. Robyn's threatening legal action, he announced, stalking interviews, press lawsuits. The room fell silent, and everyone knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Welcome to GlowGossips USA, where the truth comes out and the drama never sleeps. If you thought things couldn't get any messier in the Brown family, you might want to sit down for this one. Because what happened next left even the TLC crew shaken, Robyn in a tailspin, and Janelle walking out with a kind of silent fury that echoed louder than any words ever could. This is part 2 of the drama you were not supposed to see. Janelle's voice still lingered in the air, her final words to Kody cutting through the studio silence like a razor. She didn't wait for his response. She didn't want it. As she turned on her heel and exited the soundstage, Kody stood there stunned, visibly shaking. His lips parted, but no words coming out. The cameras were still rolling, catching every fractured breath he took, every twitch of denial etched across his face. The director didn't yell cut. No one did, 'cause no one knew if it was over or if this was just the beginning. Inside the dressing rooms, Robyn sat frozen, hunched over her phone. Her eyes were wild, darting across the screen as message after message poured in from Christine, Mary, and even Pedin. They weren't comforting, they weren't supportive. They were truth bombs, and Robyn's emotional walls those carefully. Constructed defenses were finally collapsing under the weight of years of resentment. She let the phone slide from her fingers and hit the floor with a dull thud. That's when she broke. Her chest heaved with sobs so deep and raw that the makeup artist backed away slowly, unsure whether to comfort her or just give her space to unravel. Christine's message had been the harshest. It didn't mince words. It simply read, "You protected Kody's lies for too long, and now you want sympathy because the truth came out." That one stung. Robyn had always feared Christine's voice more than anyone else's, because she knew Christine never spoke without meaning every syllable. That text was the verbal equivalent of a backhand. Outside, the TLC crew huddled in confusion and hushed whispers. The scene was chaotic. One producer with a headset still buzzing muttered to another, "Do we even air this? Or is this a lawsuit waiting to happen?" No one had ever seen it get this real before. Not on camera, not like this. Kody's breakdown, Janelle's exit. Robyn's collapse, all of it, raw, unscripted, and dangerously human. But the chaos was far from over. 2 hours later, Kody finally left the stage. His eyes were bloodshot, but not from crying. No tears had come. Just rage. Silent, boiling rage. He ignored everyone. Ignored the producers, ignored the camera assistants, ignored even Robyn, who was still curled up in the corner of her dressing room. When he passed her, he didn't even glance down. He just kept walking, his fists clenched, teeth grinding. That silence said more than any outburst ever could. Then came the shocking twist and unexpected cut from TLC. In the original footage, Robyn had a long monologue planned, a segment where she defended her actions, claimed she never meant to divide the family, and blamed external forces like media, internet trolls, and even her own jealousy triggers. It was her moment, her redemption arc. But the editors, they sliced it clean, gone, deleted. Robyn's entire segment was left on the cutting room floor, and the final edit, it focused solely on Janelle's truth-telling, Christine's independence, and the long overdue reckoning of Kody's control. The news reached Robyn that night. Her assistant received an email from TLC with the final timeline for airing. Robyn's heart dropped when she saw the breakdown. Her name was barely there, a passing mention, a shadow in a story she thought she still controlled. She went into panic mode, calling producers, demanding explanations, even threatening legal action. But the truth was, Simple America didn't want her pity anymore. They wanted the truth. They were finally getting it. The next morning, a video went live on Christine's joint account with Janelle. It wasn't flashy. It's just the two of them, sitting on a porch, holding mugs of tea, speaking directly into the camera. No scripts, no production lights. It's just raw. Truth. Janelle opened with what you saw last night. That was real. That wasn't acting. That wasn't editing. That was the result of years of silence finally ending. Christine added, "We stayed quiet to protect our kids, but we realized silence only protects abusers. Not anymore." The video exploded. Millions of views in under 24 hours. Hashtags like #FreeTheSisterWives and #JusticeForJanelle trended across every major platform. Even former fans of Kody, who had stayed neutral for years, started to flip. The dam had burst and there was no plugging it now. Back at the TLC offices, executives debated pulling the season finale altogether. Not because they were afraid it was already the most watched season in franchise history, but because they knew what was coming next. Robyn had hired a lawyer, not just any lawyer. A celebrity media attorney with a reputation for flipping reality show contracts inside out. She stormed into a meeting with her legal team, slapping the TLC release agreement on the table and shouting, "They promised me fair airtime. They promised protection." But what she didn't realize was that the tides had turned. No amount of legal jargon could erase the public's reaction. The people had chosen sides, and Robyn, she was losing by a landslide. The final kicker. Someone from the editing room leaked a clip. A deleted scene. It showed Robyn backstage during filming. Breaks whispering into her phone. "Just make sure the footage of Janelle walking out gets trimmed," she hissed. "It'll make Kody look too weak. We can't have that." The clip was damning. It painted her not as a victim, but as the manipulator many had long suspected her to be. That leak alone sparked hundreds of reaction videos. Commentators broke it down frame by frame, calling it the nail in the coffin for Robyn's image. TLC went silent. No statement, no denial. Just radio silence as the chaos swirled around them. Kody, meanwhile, went underground. No public appearances, no interviews. Just a cryptic message posted to his Instagram story. Sometimes the truth doesn't set you free, just burns everything to the ground. The question wasn't whether Kody and Robyn were done being America's reality TV favorites. The question was whether they'd survive the fire they helped ignite.